Welcome to Crime and Curiosities, where we unravel the chilling stories behind the world's most shocking crimes. From twisted motives to haunting mysteries, we dive deep into the cases that keep you up at night. Love diving into the darkest corners of true crime? Subscribe to Crime and Curiosities and hit the bell to join our community. New chilling stories drop every week. Tonight, we explore a gruesome murder in Aberdeen, Australia, that stunned the nation. Buckle up, this one's not for the faint of heart. March 1st, 2000. In the quiet mining town of Aberdeen, New South Wales, a crime unfolds that will scar a community forever. Inside an ordinary home, a man lies dead, stabbed over 37 times. His body is mutilated in ways that defy comprehension, skinned, decapitated, and parts of him cooked into a gruesome meal, meant for his own children. Who could commit such an unthinkable act? And what darkness drove them to this horror? Join us on Crime and Curiosities as we uncover one of Australia's most notorious murder cases. It's just after 8 a.m. on March 1st, 2000 in Aberdeen, a close-knit town 270 kilometers north of Sydney. John Charles Thomas Price, a 44-year-old miner known as Pricey, hasn't shown up for work, alarming his co-workers. A colleague visits his home on St. Andrew's Street and spots blood on the front door. Joined by a concerned neighbor, they knock on Price's bedroom window, hoping for a response. When silence greets them, they call the police. Officers break down the back door and step into a nightmare. A large pool of blood stains the hallway, trailing from the master bedroom. The victim, John Price, is dead, his body riddled with at least 37 stab wounds, many piercing vital organs. The violence doesn't end there. In the lounge room, Price's skin hangs on a meat hook, expertly removed. His head is found in a pot on the stove, boiling with vegetables. Slices of his flesh are cooked with potatoes, pumpkin, and gravy, plated with place cards bearing the names of Price's children. A chilling plan to feed him to his own family. Police find another person in the house, unconscious from a drug overdose. Is this the killer or another victim? As investigators cordon off the scene, the nation braces for a case that will redefine horror. To unravel this crime, we start with the victim. John Price was a beloved figure in Aberdeen, born and raised in the Hunter Valley. A dedicated miner, he'd worked the same job for 17 years, earning respect for his reliability and charm. A divorced father of 3, Price raised 2 of his children at home, coaching their sports teams and cherishing family time. He was a regular at the local RSL club, where his laughter filled the room over a cold beer. But Price's personal life was far from peaceful. For 5 years, he'd been entangled in a volatile relationship with a woman whose temper was infamous in Aberdeen. Arguments often turned violent, and in early February 2000, she stabbed him in the chest during a dispute. Fed up, Price kicked her out. On February 28th, he stopped by the Scone Magistrates' Court to secure a restraining order, hoping to protect himself and his children. That afternoon, he told co-workers, "If I don't show up to work tomorrow, she's killed me." His colleagues begged him not to go home, but Price, torn by fear for his children's safety, felt he had no choice. He believed she might harm them if he didn't return. Who was this woman, and what drove her to inspire such dread? The clues lie in a troubled past. Could you stay in a home knowing danger was near? Share your thoughts below, and give this video a like to support Crime and Curiosities. To understand the mind behind this crime, we delve into the life of the person at its center. Katherine Mary Knight was born on October 24, 1955, in Tenterfield, New South Wales, a rural town bound by tradition. Her childhood was a crucible of dysfunction. Her mother, Barbara Ruffin, was married to Jack Ruffin but began an affair with Ken Knight, Katherine's father, causing a scandal that ostracized the family. Ken, a violent alcoholic, subjected Barbara to relentless physical and sexual abuse, raping her up to 10 times a day, often in front of their children. Barbara, hardened by her suffering, shared her contempt for men and explicit details of her abuse with her daughters, including Katherine, embedding a deep-seated mistrust and anger in her young mind. Katherine, one of 8 children, including her twin sister Joy, grew up in a crowded, volatile home. Barbara's Indigenous heritage, through a great-grandmother from Moree, was a point of pride but kept secret due to pervasive racism, adding tension to the family's dynamic. Katherine later claimed she was sexually abused by several family members, excluding her father, until age 11, claims psychiatrists largely accepted, though some specifics remain unverified. Her twin sister Joy offered moments of solace, but the relentless trauma of her upbringing left lasting scars. School was no refuge. At Tenterfield High, Katherine was a loner, often bullied for her family's notoriety and her own unpredictable temper. Teachers described her as disruptive, prone to outbursts that unsettled classmates. Struggling academically, she dropped out at 15, functionally illiterate but fiercely determined. She found purpose at a slaughterhouse in Musselbrook, a grueling job that suited her resilience. As an abattoir worker, Katherine thrived, mastering the craft of boning and skinning with a butcher's knife. Her precision earned her a reputation as one of the best boners in the region, and she took pride in her work, keeping her first set of knives above her bed, a chilling foreshadowing. Katherine's relationships were a mirror of her chaotic upbringing. In 1974, at 18, she married David Kellett, a truck driver with his own struggles with alcohol. Their wedding night revealed her volatility. Katherine tried to strangle Kellett for falling asleep after 3 rounds of sex, demanding more. Barbara had warned him, "She's got a screw loose. Stir her up, and she'll kill you." The marriage produced 2 daughters, Melissa, 1976, and Natasha, 1980, but was marred by violence. Katherine once swung infant Melissa like a rag doll during an argument, and in 1979, she fractured Kellett's skull with a frying pan for coming home late. Kellett fled, leaving Katherine to raise their daughters alone. In 1986, Katherine began dating David Saunders, a local miner. Their relationship followed a familiar pattern of control and rage. In a jealous fit, she slit the throat of Saunders' 8-week-old puppy in front of him, killing it to assert dominance. Later, she stabbed him in the stomach with scissors, leaving a permanent scar. Saunders left, fearing for his safety. In 1987, Katherine started seeing John Chillingworth, a quieter partner. They had a son, Eric, in 1988, but when Chillingworth left her for another woman in 1990, Katherine's fury erupted. In a reckless act, she pushed Eric's stroller into traffic, though he was unharmed. She was briefly admitted to a psychiatric hospital, diagnosed with postnatal depression, but released without ongoing treatment. By 1995, Katherine was living with John Price in Aberdeen. Initially, their relationship seemed stable, but her demands for marriage and control clashed with Price's independence. When he refused to marry her, she retaliated by reporting him for stealing medical kits from work, costing him his 17-year job. Their arguments grew violent, and in February 2000, Katherine stabbed Price in the chest during a dispute. He evicted her and sought a restraining order, setting the stage for catastrophe. Psychologically, Katherine was complex. Later diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, she exhibited intense emotions, impulsivity, and a need for dominance. Her childhood trauma, abuse, abandonment, and societal stigma fueled her volatility, while her abattoir work fed a fascination with knives. Neighbors described her as a paradox, charming and generous one moment, terrifying the next. Some recalled her baking cakes for community events, others feared her sudden rages. By 2000, Katherine Knight was a woman on the edge, her past a roadmap to the horror that would unfold. Was Katherine Knight's past a recipe for violence, or was something darker at play? Let us know in the comments, and join our Crime and Curiosities community by subscribing. February 29, 2000, is a night Aberdeen will never forget. John Price, fearing for his life, returns home after securing a restraining order on February 28. He'd told co-workers, "If I don't show up to work, she's killed me," but felt compelled to protect his children from his former partner's wrath. That evening, he finds his house empty. She sent his children to a friend's sleepover, leaving him vulnerable. Price visits neighbors, perhaps seeking comfort, before going to bed around 11 p.m. Earlier that day, the killer prepared. She bought black lingerie and recorded a video of Price's children, making cryptic comments later seen as a crude will. Around midnight, she enters Price's home, ignoring the restraining order. She watches television, showers, and moves with eerie calm. She wakes Price, they have sex, and he falls back asleep, unaware of the danger. In the early hours of March 1st, the attack begins. Armed with a butcher's knife, the killer stabs Price at least 37 times, striking vital organs with brutal force. Blood evidence paints a desperate picture. Price wakes, tries to reach the light switch, and flees down the hallway. He opens the front door and steps outside, but the killer pursues. Whether he stumbles or is dragged back, Price dies in the hallway, bleeding out. The horror continues. With abattoir precision, the killer skins Price's body, hanging the skin on a meat hook in the lounge. They decapitate him, placing his head in a pot with vegetables. Slices of his buttocks are cooked with potatoes, pumpkin, and gravy, plated with place cards for Price's children, a plan to feed him to his family. The killer then takes a large number of pills and collapses. At 6 a.m., a neighbor notices Price's car in the driveway. When Price misses work, a co-worker investigates. Seeing blood on the front door, they alert police, who break in and find Price's body and the killer comatose. Later, the killer withdraws $1,000 from Price's account at an Aberdeen ATM, a chilling act. The person found is Katherine Mary Knight, Price's former partner. Her violent past, knife skills, and cold detachment mark her as the killer. But what pushed her to such depravity? What do you make of Knight's actions that night? Comment below, and share this video with your true crime crew to keep the discussion going on Crime and Curiosities. Katherine Knight was arrested and treated for her overdose. She claimed no memory of the crime, but psychiatrists found her sane, diagnosing borderline personality disorder. Charged with murder, she pleaded not guilty but changed to guilty on October 15, 2001, sparing the jury graphic evidence. On November 8, 2001, Justice Barry O'Keefe sentenced her to life without parole, the first woman in Australia to receive this penalty. He called the crime appalling, noting Knight's lack of remorse. Price's final moments, he said, were a time of abject terror for him, as they were a time of utter enjoyment for her. Her file reads never to be released. Knight appealed in 2006, claiming the sentence was too harsh. The New South Wales Court of Criminal Appeal dismissed it, with Justice Peter McClellan calling the crime a unique horror. Now 69, Knight resides at Silverwater Women's Correctional Center, known as Nana to inmates. Nicknamed Cannibal Kathy, she maintains she recalls nothing of the murder. Aberdeen remains haunted. Price's renovated home stands as a grim reminder. Locals like Rick Banyard recall the shock. It came out of nowhere. The case sparked conversations about domestic violence and mental health, urging better support systems. Price's children, now adults, seek privacy, carrying their father's loss. Do you think justice was served for John Price, or should Knight's trauma have changed her sentence? Sound off in the comments, and check out our Patreon for exclusive Crime and Curiosities content. Link in the description. John Price's life ended in tragedy, leaving a family and community forever changed. Katherine Knight's crime forces us to confront the cycles of abuse and mental health struggles that can lead to horror. If you're facing domestic violence, help is available. In Australia, call 1800-RESPECT at 1-800-737-732. In the US, reach the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. In the UK, contact the National Domestic Abuse Helpline at 0808-2000-247. Which true crime case should we tackle next on Crime and Curiosities? Let us know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. Love diving into the darkest corners of true crime? Subscribe to Crime and Curiosities and hit the bell to join our community. New chilling stories drop every week. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe.